sides, like I said: hypotenuse, opposite, and adjacent. Usually, when we write the trig ratios, we use O, H, and A to represent them. So usually, the H, O, and A are the first letter of these keywords. Now, the hypotenuse is always the longest side. Like we said, it faces the right angle. So, which means my hypotenuse is this one. Agree?
Yeah.
Now, opposite is the next side you want to identify. Opposite is the one that faces the given angle. That is why I told Joey not to use the word opposite to explain hypotenuse. Do you understand? Because it's another keyword on its own to avoid any confusion. Opposite is the side that faces a given angle. So in this case, this is my opposite, and this is still my hypotenuse. Automatically, the third side is the adjacent. Okay? I once had a confused idea, well, thanks to someone who explained to me that time, that hypotenuse, adjacent is the side the triangle is sitting on. So, when you come across a question where this is a given angle, what is this side supposed to be?
The
opposite. So, the idea that adjacent is where the triangle sits on is wrong. It's only valid in this case, but not all triangles will be like this. What if we rotate this maybe 90 degrees or even 180, either clockwise or anti-clockwise? Then this, does it mean our opposites has changed also? No. Now, if none of these angles, if no angle is given, hypotenuse remains hypotenuse, opposite and adjacent can be anywhere. So if you have a shape that looks like this, so if this is my hypotenuse, then one of these can be my opposite, one of these can be my adjacent. It doesn't matter. It depends on what you are trying to use that information to do. Now, having identified this because of our time, the next thing is to talk about trig ratios, okay, which is the main thing here. Now, there are three basic trig ratios: the sine, the cosine, and the tangent. The sine, cosine, and tangent. Now, this might be a new keyword for most of us because it's not taught in Form 2. Sine, cosine, and tangent. You have heard about tangent at a point. Can somebody remind me?
A line against.
A line against.
Like it only touches one point.
A line against a curve that touches at one point. Now, there are two areas where tangent features: in geometry and in trigonometry. Okay? In geometry of maybe lines, then you talk about tangent as that gradient thing. In trigonometry, tangent is a ratio of opposite and adjacent. Okay? The same thing with secant. Secant also features here. Secant is the inverse of cos. Okay? Secant. Usually we use the third letter in that name. Anyway, you don't need to worry about secant because there are three others which are inverse of this, but you will learn those in IB syllabus. You don't need to worry about it in IGCSE. Okay? Now, instead of writing sine always, we write it this way: sine, cos, and tan. We just call them sine, cos, and tan. Instead of saying sine, cosine, and tangent, that means the full name. Even on your calculator, these are the you just list 3 letters, but this is the full meaning. Now, these are ratios of opposite, hypotenuse, and adjacent, but we use this summary to always remember SohCahToa. SohCahToa means sine is opposite divided by hypotenuse. Cos means adjacent divided by hypotenuse. And tan is opposite divided by adjacent. This is why we call them trig ratios. Sine of an angle, maybe an angle theta, is opposite divided by the hypotenuse. So this is where the word ratio comes in. Does it make sense? So all you have to remember is this, then the rest is just substitute what is missing and what is not missing, and solve the simple equation you get. And calculator, of course, does the magic of what is sine of this angle, what is cos of this angle. We'll see that very soon. Okay, so I'm just going to write this. You can write while I write this summary here. Please quickly.
I don't understand how you get
Please
the
just write. Thank you.
opposite one is the opposite of one.
Mr. Ironman, can you let him write? I'm not done with my explanation. Thank you. The three trig ratios are sine, which is opposites, divided by the hypotenuse of any right angle triangle. Cosine, which is adjacent divided by the hypotenuse of any right angle triangle. And tangent, which is opposites divided by the adjacent of any right angle triangle. So in summary, this is what we just write. Sine theta equals O over H, or opposite over hypotenuse. Cos theta is A over H, which means adjacent divided by hypotenuse. And tan theta, where theta is the angle this time. If your angle is alpha, it will be tan alpha. Okay? So we use SohCahToa to remember this. Always remember with this. Now, what does this mean? How is it useful? I'll show you now. And let him write also. Did you hear me when I said let him write the other time? Yeah. Okay, so look at this. Everybody please pay attention. The first three questions I'm writing here is how to use trig ratios to find sides. Now, like I said, trigonometry of right angle triangle is about finding the sides and the angles. If we have two sides, to find the third side is not a problem. We already know what we call the Pythagoras theorem, isn't it? So I'm not going into that. This is when you are dealing with two sides and an angle, but one of them is missing. So it could be two angles, two sides are given, you need to find the angle. Or one side and one angle is given, you need to find another side. Does it make sense now? So that is where this comes in. Where you do not have two sides given, but you have a side and an angle being given. Does it make sense? So the first thing you do is identify the sides that you have using this. Okay? Identify the sides that you have, and that tells you what trig ratio to use. So what does x represent in this triangle? Opposites. Because we said opposite is the side facing any given angle. 30 degrees is an angle given in this shape. So this is opposite. Now, of course, this is the hypotenuse because it's hypotenuse by default is the side that faces the right angle triangle. So now look at this. You are dealing with O and H because we have no clue what this is. So nobody cares about the adjacent. So if you are dealing with O and H, what trig ratio is that? Sine. So with that, you write this ratio. Sine 30 is opposite over hypotenuse. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Okay? Because I said sine theta is O over H. So theta is 30 this time around. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Sine 30. Now you substitute. What is your opposite?
X.
X. And the hypotenuse is 10. So if you cross multiply, this is simple equation. X will be 10 multiplied by sine 30. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
And that should give you 5. So press your calculator.